It's now my pleasure to introduce Alexandra Neumann. Upon publishing her first novella at the age of 16, Alexandra Neumann has spent her days attempting to define reality with her words, her paints, and any other mediums available. Diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the age of 14, she has found a certain comfort in the structure and fluidity of poetry. Alexandra has been published through multiple literary journals, HIP Literary Magazine, Dyst Literary Journal, Magazine Maximum, Felix Media, the Australian Times, as well as Pan Macmillan's with her second glance in 2006. Alexandra's main goal is to break the shackles of reality by sharing her creations wherever they can inspire someone. So over to you, Alex. I look forward to hearing what you've got to say.
Hi there. I was going to write up an essay, applauding myself, lording it over my audience with my public publications. But it feels more honest just to say what I want to say. Today, I'm living under the shadow of my words. These scattered time-spring sunlight, the tones of every syllable, though instead, I will just tell you, as a friend, what these words mean. Poetry is a language of its own. Language has a heartbeat. Hi, my name is Alexandra Neumann, and I am the poet for this evening's event. How is everybody? Over the course of my life, my joys and my traumas, I have found poetry to be an incredible tool of growth and comfort. Words are like any other art form. They are simultaneously steady and malleable. You can tempt any phrase into a blossom. This presentation will be interspersed with some poems that I've had published over the past few years. There are many different forms of poetry, each imbued with its own set of rules and strategies. A haiku can be just as beautiful as any sonnet. A limerick can stand tall against a ballad. In my experience, the most beautiful thing about writing and structuring my thoughts into a poem is the catharsis that comes alongside it. Over these past few years, trauma has been unending. Upending, it will overwhelm you, if you let it. But poetry is the perfect therapist. You can say what you want to say. You don't have to pay. Then you can dress it up however you want. Polish it. Make it beautiful. My favorite aspect of a poem is the juxtaposition of it all. If you get lost in the rules, you could be buried under synonyms, syllables, syntax. Flames. The sky clears its throat, preparing for a light show. Orange fingers touch dead land, waiting for a breath of wind. A gasp to tear us down, like knees would collapse. Like Mogo, reduced to ash. Did you ever want to perfect your words before you say them? Build them stronger than they seem? A poem is layered. Structurally, it's sounder than any plain old sentence. You can hide between the words or jump out over the tops of them. Poetry is fluid like that. The other side of it is free verse. A vomiting of words holds its own beauty. As stated by the All Poetry Foundation, some people use writing as a form of escapism or mindfulness. Working on the craft of a poem can help some people to feel a sense of control over a situation, or gain a new perspective. Reading poems written by other people which reflect our own experiences can also help us feel less alone. Over my life, I've had a lot of time to think. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at the age of 14. High school was fun. When I couldn't see the world around me or walk in a straight line, my words were my closest friend. This world is bigger than me, though. This topic. The bees are endangered these days. The world is at war with anything worth a cent. Life is rent, is sterile when the tree's a stranger. Stone priority, myopic. We grazed our knees last winter on concrete grass where flowers used to grow. Technology built the snow we shield our skin against. The trains do not run on time when children are born of test tubes. The future lost its mind with clocks, computers, advancement. He bought his wife at auction. Thailand is the place to be. Money is the meaning of life, is numbers on a screen. Number 1, negate our wealth. Wraiths in straitjackets know the market best. Rest is only for the wicked. Rest is only for the wicked. When I'm dead, I will sleep tomorrow. You've been training your dog with crowbars. You have been training your children. With every new trauma comes different words. How can anyone define 2020? How can we make it beautiful? Pandemic. My throat closes over and I am scared. The trail of the dead is laid with face masks. I have known peace when my skin was soaked with paint, when my hands could move to write and I was breathing. Just pump me with formaldehyde and hide me in the walls, that's all. That's all, I'm fine. Anxiety is a shallow creature. It manifests in shadows, sharpening its claws. Oh, I'm stuffing this one up front. And poetry is built up of tricks. Make the printed word sing without sound. Rhyme is an effective technique. It's like music. When you get a lyric revolving around in your mind, that's rhyme. It holds. It sticks. Alliteration announces its act like an acrobat, bouncing between crafty consonants. In other words, she sells seashells by the seashore. I could spend my 10 minutes going through all the techniques, the rules to a poem. You're all welcome to ask about them in the comments, anyone? But my favorite thing about poetry is the inherent contrast it contains. A poem is merely a collection of words. There are no rules, except for those that you wish to impose upon yourself. Poetry is a big word to define. Iridescent. We will plant seeds for the winter. The cracked earth beneath our naked feet has opened, spilling light. Wringing our hands, we will pray to the water nestled in the sky. Collapse against the wind, fingers outstretched, save me. The world's longest poem, the Mahabharata, stretches some 200,000 verse lines. The world's shortest has a title longer than its sum. Lines on the Antiquity of Microbes reads in its entirety, Adam Haddam. Poetry has many forms. Ultimately, though, it is the breathings of the soul. Poetry is a portrait, the organization, the beautification of a thought. Poetry is thunder.